We've lived in the USA now for 15 years, but in a few months' time, we're going to be moving back to the UK.
In this video, we're going to talk through the 12 things that we're really looking forward to having or doing or seeing once we're back. Hi, I'm Susie.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Welcome to Here and There with Him and Her, where we chat about all things related to our transatlantic journeys.
Grab yourself a brew, get the biscuit of your choice, and sit down with us today when we talk about the 12 things that we're most looking forward to when we return to the UK in a few months' time.
So number one on our list is pretty obvious, but family and friends. We're looking forward to seeing our family and friends again.
It seems obvious, but it is true. We're not getting any younger, and neither are our friends and family back in the UK. So one of the main reasons we're heading back that way is to share more experiences with them and make some new memories as we carry on. So friends and family, it's up there at the top of the list. Second thing on our list is walkability. One of the things we've found in the US is that you need a car to get anywhere. So
it is actually weird to miss something like this, but it is nice in the UK where obviously we're just a little less land really that everything's built on, but you can literally just pop out to the shops. You can just walk to the corner and there's a shop there or the pub there, or maybe even like your friends or your family that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
When we were first talking to people over here and they said, oh, let's go out for a drink after work. And we'd say,
it's not far.
Whereabouts? I said, oh, it's a bar. It's not that far. It's just around the corner. Well, to us, just around the corner
is
means
literally just around the corner.
Literally, you don't need the car. You just walk around the corner. We found out that around the corner actually meant get in the car, drive for 10, 15 minutes, and then it's around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really looking forward to just the fact that we don't have to use the car as much, I suppose, really. And we still have access to pubs, shops, takeaways, things like that.
Yeah.
So that brings us nicely to number 3 on our list, which is access to public transport.
Yeah, if we wanted to go further afield than just pop into local shops, the public transport system in the UK would allow us to get further, go away for weekends or just pop into the city for something. It's a lot more convenient.
And we wouldn't have the hassle of trying to find a parking space or somewhere to park if we did go in for like a little city break or something like that. So, yes.
Could also have a drink as well. Not so much for me, but more for you, is the availability of a proper sized bathtub.
Yeah, so this is number 4 on my list anyway, and that is having a nice soak. So in the United States, they do have bathtubs. Don't get me wrong. We have had bathtubs and they do exist. But in the main, they are quite shallow and they're designed more for bathing children, small children. They're not like nice, deep tubs. We have had a nice, what they call a soaker tub over here in the US, but it was like wide. So really the water's just placed further apart. Like you're not submerged. It's not like a nice cocoon of nice warm bubbly water to soothe you when you have aches and pains. So I'm really looking forward to having a bath in the UK because most of the bathtubs that I have experienced whilst living in the UK, and I'm quite a short person, I'm only 5 foot something. So, I can really stretch out and have a nice soak for a good hour, maybe with some wine.
Our 5th thing on our list may sound counterintuitive, but it's the weather and climate. If you've seen one of our earlier videos, you'll know that the rain and the cold were one of the reasons that were instrumental in our snap decision to come to America 15 years ago.
But now, having lived here for, like you said, nearly 15 years, we are missing that sort of cold, miserable weather. Maybe not an everyday thing, but I find that over here where we are in North Carolina, it's nice and sunny, but then we hit this steamy, hot, humid part during the summers, which seem to be getting longer and longer and hotter and hotter. We keep hitting all these records. I know that's down to global warming, but I'll get that's another subject. But I miss the changing of the seasons. I miss having proper April showers. I miss having We have an autumn here. The leaves do change, but it seems to be just like a 2-week window where everybody drives up to the mountains to see the beautiful foliage, and then it's done. And then it doesn't even get that cold in the winter, does it?
No.
So he might not be, but I am looking forward to having maybe a few more seasons, a bit of differentiation in the climate here when we move back.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, very true. You might want to stay tuned to that one.
The sixth thing on our list is the fact that there's healthier food to be had in the UK and in Europe.
Yes. So this is due to the fact that the UK and Europe ban more chemical food additives. In the US, the FDA only bans maybe 11 chemicals, as opposed to 1,300 chemicals that are banned outright in the UK and in Europe. And I know a bit about this, as Paul mentioned in a previous video. I am a chemist, and I used to work for a big company before I went into teaching. That kind of, that was my part of these EU regulations and UK regulations. So I know a bit about it. And it's something we've struggled with over here, because to try and find healthier food in the main is more expensive, isn't it, in the US, to actually go organic. They do publish every year. There's a nice list and a naughty list kind of thing, isn't there, of fruits and vegetables to help consumers choose to eat better. But it's not always achievable because, as I said, organic food is actually quite expensive, and that's the only food over here that guaranteed is not using a lot of chemicals in it. And that is followed closely by number 7, which is not just healthier food, but knowing that there's a lot less sugar.
Yeah, here it seems to be there's sugar in everything: bread, cereals, snacks, prepackaged food. A lot more sugar in foods than you would find in the UK and in Europe. Following on from number 6, what Susie just mentioned, is that there is also better nutritional information and labelling in the UK compared to the USA. You have to really hunt out the information on packaging to be able to learn what's within a product, whereas it's more clear and open in Europe and the UK.
It's kind of an actual government strategy to help people make good food choices.
Yeah.
So instead of, as Paul was saying over here, I'm not saying you can't find there is nutritional labeling, but it's not always clear. I don't think people are well educated on how to read that labeling. In the UK, they've really simplified it so everybody really fully understands, how much salt, how much sugar, how much saturated fat, all of that stuff, so that people can choose a better balanced diet.
There's also an economic and cultural factor here as well, with the fact that many people don't have access to places that they can buy decent food from, which is really, really sad. So obviously it's one of the things we're looking forward to when we go back is the availability of
better
choices when it comes to what food we're eating. Our 8th thing on the list is something that we've noticed when we've gone back to the UK on holidays and for emergencies, is that there's more dairy-free options when eating out. And obviously this is something that is great news to you because you're
lactose intolerant. Yeah. So over here, when we first moved to the US, I was quite upset / angry at places like Starbucks, because they actually would charge me more money to not have dairy milk but have a non-dairy alternative, when it's not my fault. It is something that is in my genes. If I have milk or cream, I am violently sick. And
if you're lucky.
Yes. And people who have lactose intolerance, you understand where I'm coming from. Anyway, it has gotten a bit better as we have progressed, as we've lived here. Time's gone by, yes. Things have gotten better. Starbucks no longer charges you, and there are more alternatives to dairy milk There's now oat milk and almond milk and coconut milk.
Mm-hmm.
I think oat milk is our favourite, but it's still just the milks. I think they're starting to branch out into things like non-dairy creamers, and there are some non-dairy ice creams.
Mm.
But what we're talking about here really is that when we've gone back to the UK, when I go to a restaurant, they immediately ask me if I have any allergies. Well, they ask us. And I say that I'm lactose intolerant, and I get a whole separate menu of all of the options that I know I'm safe to have, as opposed to going into a restaurant and asking the wait staff all the time, does this have milk in it? Does this have cream in it? When things say that they have a creamy sauce, sometimes they don't actually have milk or cream, but you don't know because they use the word creamy. So that's something I am very much looking forward to, that I can go to a restaurant, I can go to a pub for some food, and there's dairy-free custard, so I can have a pudding. That's a dessert. There is dairy-free whipped cream. I mean, I can even buy dairy-free custard off the shelf now, can't I?
Yeah.
There's dairy-free what we call double cream, which is whipping cream over here. So I could make a trifle. Before, I would have to make a separate trifle for me and then a trifle for everybody else, because obviously I have to have the non-dairy without all the fancy cream and things in it.
To be fair, when we've gone to high-end restaurants,
yes, that's true,
here, New York and Las Vegas and Asheville in North Carolina, you have been asked, do you have any food issues?
Yes.
So it's something that's catching on, but it seems to be firmer established. And even, I mean, last time we were there, we just went out for a pub lunch somewhere, and they asked you. So it seems to be more across the spectrum than just the high end.
And it's not just lactose intolerance. I think they have this for every food allergy.
Yeah.
You know, wheat, eggs, nuts, all that sort of thing. I feel like it is a bit more advanced. So I'm really looking forward to eating out and having all these options that before, growing up, I never had the opportunity to enjoy. Please can you share in our comment section if this ever has applied to you, whether it is lactose intolerance like myself, or whether you have other allergies and you feel that you're just, not catered for or left out a little bit when you have to eat out with friends, or you have to find special recipes and spend hours in the kitchen trying to come up with some concoction just so you know what a cheesecake tastes like. Just please let us know in the comments below. Thanks.
Well, it looks like you're on a bit of a roll here, because this is another one that you're really involved with and passionate about, and that's easier to make choices that are sustainable and environmentally friendly when it comes to buying household products.
Yes, this is something that has been getting better in the US. But when we first moved here, I found it took me a while to source products that were better for the environment. And when I mean products, I'm talking about cleaning supplies, personal care, shampoo, conditioner, and maybe, just household items, I guess, laundry detergent, things like that. And they do exist, and they are getting more and more. There's more brands on the market, but as I said, initially they were hard to find and they were more expensive. Now, I would say in the past, I guess, year or so, we have started to use an organization called the Grove Collaborative, which is a website that actually does all of that research for you. They source products from companies that only have a rating that is highly, environmentally friendly, or that will sell them sustainable products. So that has helped. And if you're interested, and there may be other organizations, this is just one that I know of, and it's called the Grove Collaborative. And I'll put a little link in the description if you're interested in having a look at that. And they have really good options for cleaning supplies, laundry detergent, personal care, even pet care, if that's something you're interested in. But switching back to the UK, there has been a massive drive, I would say, in the last 15, 20 years for everybody, for every business and organization to really have this massive push towards only having environmentally or sustainable products. Like, we don't have to try and source them, we don't have to try and find them. They're going to be everywhere, they're going to be in every shop that you go into, even to the point of completely banning single use plastics for packaging for food takeaway, for use, so no single use straws and things like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But then also there's this white wave of zero waste shops, which is something I haven't seen in the
Over here,
US
no,
at
no.
all. And the zero waste shop is really where you go in and you can buy all of the things, your foods, your fruits, your vegetables, everything in containers. In you can bring your own containers from home, or you can buy a reusable container. But the idea is that there's no excess packaging, there's no excess waste. Like, you are literally coming and going and only getting the foods that you want
Mm-hmm.
without the excess stuff. And that is something that I'm really looking forward to when we move back to the UK. It's just not having to struggle to find these things anymore, or pay over the odds for them
Yeah.
either. That brings us on to our number 10 on the list, which is something that I know this guy is really looking forward to, and that is having full access to the BBC.
Yeah. You won't know, being if you're in the UK, but even in the US, the BBC runs ads, and it sounds petty, but it's so nice to be able to watch something and not have an ad break. And every 5 minutes, it seems like here that there's an ad break. So yeah, really looking forward to getting back to non-commercial television, um, where we can watch things that are interrupted by adverts.
And also the radio.
Oh, of course, radio. Yeah, yeah. Here we have to pay for satellite radio to get an ad-free experience. But in the UK, obviously, it's part of your TV license. You get the whole range of the BBC national and local radios. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Moving on to number 11 on our list, and that is not having to pay for medical care.
Yeah, we may have mentioned this in one of our earlier videos that in the UK there's the National Health Service, which is a system where everybody pays in directly from the wages and national insurance costs, and you don't miss the money. But it means that everybody has coverage when it comes to health. You don't need extra health insurance. Many people over here don't seem to realise that also includes prescription prices. Here, we found that prescription prices can be astronomical, but over in the UK, they are at a flat rate. For instance, an asthma inhaler over here is between $45 and $100,
Yep.
whereas in the UK it would have been the flat rate of whatever prescriptions are now. I don't know how much they are now because we've not lived there for 15 years.
I want to say
But
£16,
I
maybe.
think it's 17, something like that. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure, but we'll find out. And when we do, we'll let you know. Again, with emergency services as well, you don't have to pay for an ambulance in the UK. And there's no instances of people being made bankrupt due to medical costs. So, yeah, that's
And
something we're looking forward to.
You're never turned away. You're never told that you can't have
Yeah.
an operation, or that you can't have some sort of care. You pay from your wages, whatever you can afford, because it's all tapered to what you are earning,
Yeah.
isn't it? And that just covers you for everything, except for a little bit more for prescriptions. So that brings us to our last one on this list, and that's number 12, food.
Yes, we'll probably go into this in greater detail at another time, but bread, crumpets, takeaways, decent curry, decent Chinese, just going to the chippy for fish and chips, crisps, chocolate biscuits.
So yeah, there's a whole variety of things that we're really looking forward to having. I think we're going to have to do, like I said, multiple videos on this
Yeah.
because it is a big part of our lives. But we have been able to get a few things over here to sustain us in our 15 years.
Yes.
Mostly from places like World Market and Amazon. And I'm thinking of maybe putting together a little Amazon shop so that if you're interested in some of our goodies that we will describe to you in another video, like baked beans and things, you can go and have a look and maybe try for yourselves. They are quite expensive. We're not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
So we have been limited to our British goodies, mostly for like Christmas time, because the cost can mount up. But please, in the comments below, please let us know if you have any British treats that you managed to get hold of here in the US. If you have a shop that you have in mind, or if you just share, please share. There are other people like us
who don't know,
miss the food, who want to know how to get hold of it. So please share that in the comment section. But yes, really, really looking forward to it. Thanks for watching Here and There with Him and Her as we went through 12 of the things that we are looking forward to the most once we return back to the UK. If you liked our video, please make sure you give us a good thumbs up and let us know in the comments, please, if you are interested in more content like this or if you have any questions for us.
We'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Let us know if our chat has prompted any thoughts or questions you might have, or if there's anything you'd like us to chat about in future videos. And if you're new here, remember, don't forget to press the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. We're off now for a fresh cuppa and possibly some biscuits. So take care for now. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.